Kate with New Beginnings Healing Ministry, and you are watching episode 11 of Fiat, the resounding yes that will transform your life. In this episode, I will be talking about what I see as a solution. And although we can't change the world, we're going to need God for that. He's going to need to really take over in a very powerful way and help us clean up. We can at least change ourselves, our families, and our communities, and have peace. So with doing that, it can be very difficult, but there's things that can really help, and that's what I want to go over. So first of all, we are called to create these safe havens. And when I think back to my very first time I heard Our Lady's voice audibly, she said, "Create a special place for me and I will protect it for you." I had no idea what that meant. And then life really started getting interesting. And there I am building a grotto and, completely changing my life. And not to say that I was, this horrible person before and that I was, I wasn't praying, because I was always, my conversion story is not very interesting. I grew up Catholic. I have always been into my faith. I was going to conferences, healing conferences at a young kid age, probably 7 or 8. I never missed mass. You know what I mean? So I don't have like this very powerful, like, whoa, she had a major conversion. But it was over time, and it was, so many different healings and miracles that I've been able to see with my own eyes to strengthen my relationship with the Lord. And I think a lot of people have that. We all want these grand revelations. We want to hear these voices and these, get these prophecies and visions, but they don't happen very often, if at all. And we can't depend on those. We need to grow and walk in faith despite whether or not we're feeling anything. Mother Teresa, I believe she's a saint now. So the last 20 years of her life, she felt complete this isolation. She didn't feel the Lord's presence at all, but she continued. And that's what we need to do. So it doesn't matter if we're feeling connected to the Lord or not. We need to continue to walk in faith. And with our families, what we can do to strengthen our families is we can create a safe haven and a domestic church. We're all called, we have the church, and then we have our homes, which is to be a domestic church. We're supposed to have our homes as, a place of worship and a place that family feels welcomed, and you can be yourself, and you can debate gracefully. And, upon the walls, we need to have certain things. When someone walks into your home, they need to know that you are a Christian, that you are Catholic. They need to see that. Because if not, we're not evangelizing. These are subtle ways that we can evangelize. If we're not going to be missionaries going across the world, we can still do it within our community and within our family. So different things to have on your wall. A crucifix, or a cross. I recommend a crucifix because you can truly see the suffering, but at the same time, the beauty of it. And it's an invitation to put yourself on the cross as well, and realize that life isn't fair, and that we're here to work and make it home. That's what we're here for. So a crucifix, a cross. I highly recommend having holy water and holy oil. We had holy water growing up, but it was from Medjugorje, and we could only take just a little bit each time because we didn't want it to run out. But it's so silly because you can get as much as you want and have it there. But, another video, I will get into some stories of warfare and how powerful holy water can be, and the Rosary and things like that. But for now, I'll just say that it's important to have holy water out. And when you do that, your kids will come up and they'll see you blessing yourself, and they'll want to bless themselves. And then you'll notice they'll want to start blessing each other. And then when one's sad, one will go and get the holy water and start blessing them. And they start doing this, and it speaks volumes even to me. And then I start thinking, wow, like the family, it's total evangelization within the family. When one's down, the other one's picking them up. When one's weak in their faith, the other one's on fire. And it's just this, it's just a cycle. And it's created to be that way. So get some holy water, get some holy oil in your home, and bless your home. Okay, especially if you've moved into your home. I hate to talk about scary stuff, but the enemy can be anywhere, and he can manifest himself in any way, shape, or form. So at least bless your house so that you're inviting Jesus into your home, and ask the Holy Spirit to, fill that space. And we'll get into more of that later, some different specific prayers that you can do to do that. But it's really important, especially in these times that we're living in. So bless your home. Another thing you can do is have this, I talked about this in a few videos ago, create this special place, a place of gathering that your family can come together and pray. And then do it. Call everybody into the living room or into wherever this special place is and say, we're going to pray a little bit. It can be one prayer. It might be awkward at first. It might be extremely chaotic. In my case, it's every night. It is not fun to pray with my family. I almost dread it at times because they're peaceful watching a movie or something. And then when I turn it off, it's like all hell breaks loose. But we pray because, we're being conditioned. And I can't say that, my kids are going to grow up to be these wonderful, faith-filled children. I don't know what they're going to do. Every child will do their own thing. They're their own person. But looking back on my life, we gathered and prayed the Rosary for 20 plus years, not just with my family, but my entire family, all my cousins, my grandparents, and we did that weekly. And then when my brother was killed in 2009, shortly after, we were on the same couches praying the Rosary. So it is true that a family that prays together stays together. It sounds cliche, we're used to hearing it, but it's true. And you start noticing that certain people are struggling, and the evangelization begins again. You start praying for that person. You start asking them if they're okay. I'm going to pray for you. Just knowing people are praying for you is everything sometimes. So you need to prepare in that sense, because life is kind of dangerous. Like, there's a lot of things that can happen, and we need to prepare for those instances where we're going to have to lean on our faith. And if we have nothing to lean on, we fall. So pray with your families. Pray with them. My mom, it's just funny, I found this out this year. When she was younger, she had to walk into this big auditorium with a banner, and she had to make it. And she chose to write, "A family that prays together stays together." And when I was younger, we had to make this quilt at my school, and I had to make the little patch. And I ended up saying, "A family that prays together stays together," and I put a rosary around it. I don't know what made me do that at all. I have no idea. But I did. And I think it's just kind of ironic that we both did that. And then here I am trying to, give these messages. And it's also kind of funny too. My mom, she went to Medjugorje when she was pregnant with me. And I did not know this until, again, a couple years ago. And she was laughing when she said this, but she said, "Kate, I just want to let you know I offered you up to the Lord when I was on Apparition Hill. I just gave you to Mary." I'm like, so you're the one to blame. It's your fault. But it's so beautiful to see what prayer can do in a family, especially in the case of tragedy. Because even through the tragedy, you have this hope and this peace and this willingness to just suffer yourself, just so you can get to that next place, so you can be with the saints and be with your loved ones. So with the Rosary, I said it's important to have rosaries too. And it is, it's a meditation on the sufferings and just the life and the death of Jesus. And you're asking Mary to just, help you and pray for you as a sinner and things like that. And I like to use stories that are personal stories, or people that I know that are very close to me. And my sister, she had an experience with the Rosary, and it was kind of cool, and I wanted to share that. So can't remember, probably a couple years ago. She was babysitting, and it was about 10:30 at night, and she was heading home. And she always keeps a rosary in her car. And she said that she was driving around trying to get out of the subdivision, and she noticed a car pulling up behind her. And so she, went one way, and it followed her that way, and then she went the other way, and she just started trying to lose this guy. And he kept following her. And then she tried speeding up. She's still in the subdivision. She's speeding up. She said she was going probably 40 miles an hour, which is fast in a subdivision. And she was freaking out, and she was praying to Mary, please protect me, Lord Jesus, please protect me. And she really thought that was going to be the end for her. And it was very traumatizing. And finally, she said she just felt this pull over here. And she went up, and she said a lot of houses had their lights on. But she went to this one house in particular, and there was the light on, and she ran up, and she was knocking on the door, and she turned around, and the car that had been following her pulled up. And the guy started to get out. And she was banging on the door. A lady opens the door, brought her inside. What's wrong? She told him. She goes, oh my gosh, honey, you picked the right house. She's like, there's 3 men right here, or in here right now, and they're all martial arts, and Hapkido instructors or something like that. And the 3 men went out, and she said, they did call the police and stuff, but she said that they took care of this guy. I don't know what they did to him exactly, but it was not good. But it was good in the sense that she was safe and she was protected. And from then on out, she has had this devotion to the rosary. She's always had the devotion, but it's more powerful because she has her own experience. So, if you want to grow in your faith, that's another thing you can do. Ask the Lord for things to happen that will end in a very powerful testimony, but then be prepared to share it. That's because you have to do that too. You got to do your part and spread that message. So again, I know all of these things might be difficult, creating these safe havens in our house, and putting these things up in our home because it might be different or it might not match our decor. I've gone through that. It's like, oh, I want Jesus pictures, but it doesn't, some of them, they look older. Some even look a little scary. They do. Some statues too. But you can find very, very beautiful images that look, they're just, I think it's St. Joseph's Studio. They have a lot of very beautiful, like the palette pictures, and they're gorgeous. And I remember, struggling with that. I went to a friend's house, and she had a ton of like holy stuff up on the wall, and I'm just like, oh, I know I should do that, but I don't know, it's just not my style. And I started praying about it. And then when I was doing ministry stuff, I had all of these wonderful women just bringing me pictures and statues and all this stuff holy. And so I started putting it out. And I'm so glad I did, because life does get hard at times. And before going to bed, I would stop and sit on the couch and talk to the Lord for who knows how long, looking at the picture, meditating on it. I go through the house and I see the image of Mary holding baby Jesus so lovingly, and it helps me be nice to my children when I really want to just lose it. So these images are there to serve as reminders that, we're not alone, and we're here to fulfill whatever vocation it is we're called to. In my case, the family life and being a mother, and it helps me do that. And it kind of changes everything. When you have these constant reminders, you don't feel alone, and you're always reminded of what matters most, and that's our faith and our family. And if you create this safe haven, I'm telling you, you will have peace in your home. It's just the byproduct of doing that. So if you need peace in your home, pray for it and create the safe haven. And I think, at least while the world continues to go mad, you can at least have this safe place for your family. So for your homework, just start creating that safe haven, okay? Talked about building a grotto or a place of prayer. Do that, but go beyond in this video. Go in this homework. Go get some, an image of the Holy Family, or a rosary or something, and make it fun for your kids. You know, get them new things. And you think that they're not going to like that stuff, or, you know, it doesn't compare to a plastic toy from Walmart, but they love it. They love it, and they can sense the goodness from it. And it's really neat to see that. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to pray for peace for your family, and I'm going to pray that you're able to create that special place that Our Lady wants all of us to create. Thank you.